What is your relationship with your dad? Especially if you're a girl. Like, are you a daddy's girl? Are you that's my father. Like, you don't even call them dad. My relationship with my dad is not the best, if I can say that. The word father comes with a responsibility I never experienced growing up or in my adulthood whatsoever. Father, to me, meant constant fear and anxiety, fear of being woken up in the middle of the night to go finish collecting some farm tools that had been forgotten outside. Father means being 11 years old in class 5 and getting kicked so hard in the stomach I started bleeding, had to be rushed to hospital, and sat down to a whole case with family members where he apologized to everyone but me. Yo, healing is crazy. But you have to revisit the dark parts so that you can see the light better. Hi, my name is Karo Maina, and this is the Dining and Journals podcast. Today's episode is going to start with a question. What is your relationship with your dad? Especially if you're a girl. Like, are you a daddy's girl? Are you that's my father. Like, you don't even call them dad. Like, or, sorry, if your dad is deceased. But now, to the girlies with a dad present or not, what is your relationship? Don't worry, you can answer the question kimoyo moyo, but I will answer mine right here, right now. As I said, I'm doing a lot of shadow work. I am revisiting self, and part of revisiting self is going back to the dark parts which you're not comfortable discussing, you're not comfortable finding out more about or really talking openly about. So this is one of those days, this is one of those episodes where it's gonna get deep, it's gonna get kind of crazy. Some people will feel touched. I'm sorry, but you're part of my past. What do you expect? I have a mic in front of me and a camera in front of me, and it's a podcast, so sorry. Yeah, you have to accept to be part of my story because you found yourself there. On to today's episode. I shot this on Father's Day week, if I can say that. And the word father comes with a lot of memories. The word father comes with a lot of things. God, hey, do I envy the girlies who have a present dad? You know, like, I understand African dads, it's not all hugs and roses and presents all the time. But if you are one person who has ever hugged their dad as a girl, I don't know the relationship with boys and dads. Really, I can't talk from a point of experience with that because I'm not a guy. But as a girl who lives by the notion that girlies need their daddies, I think that this is gonna be kind of an emotional roller coaster, going back, going forward, where I am at right now, and I hope you're gonna bear with me. So, where do I start with this? First of all, I have my relationship with my dad is not the best, if I can say that. It hasn't been for the last, I think I can say 19 years. No, not 19. I met him when I was like 7. You know, your mom marries this guy and he's supposed to be good because he's the father of your siblings. You are, what is it called? Welcomed or initiated to the family. Initially, you're living with your grandparents and it's all merry, and because you know how grandparents dote on their grandchildren. Yeah, that was my life for the first like 8 years. And then girl meets boy. No, girl meets woman meets man. Man marries woman, woman gets a child with a man, and woman decides, okay, I have a child who is being raised by my parents. Let me go get her so that we can be one big family. Hooray! Yay! Ha! Child is me. So I'm gotten from my grandparents. And all along, as much as, okay, living with your grandparents is, they give you a certain level of freedom that probably your mother and father would not. But in my case, anyway, this is my story. So even if I say you, just know it's you, me. I'm talking about myself the whole time. So, the whole transition from living with grandparents, having all the room to yourself, having the whole house to yourself, all the snacks and everything, on to the next phase of life where you're going to live with it's actually a new family, because my mom had been working in the city. I think Nairobi. I can't remember the details very well, but it was Nairobi. She would come occasionally. I love my mom, so I would be looking forward to the day that she's going to come and visit me at my grandparents' house. And then boom, all of a sudden, I'm like 7. I think I was 7 at that time. She comes, gets me, and takes me to my new home, to her home now, with her new family. And the reason why I talk with so much authority about this issue is because I was like officially adopted by the man she married. So he's officially my father, legally and otherwise. Anyways, you'd expect, I'm gonna love you with all your baggages and all that. Something different. But this is the same story, same as ever. And I think that's why I have so much trauma introducing my child to a guy, whether I'm dating them or what. So that's why I hold back so much. You'll see why by the end of this story. So fast forward, I'm already settled in my new home. I'm so happy. I'm going to a new school. I have a brother. My brother was 2 years at the time. And then my mom got my sister almost immediately when I settled into that new family. So I have moved from being an only child at my grandparents to the firstborn of 3 at that time, in a 2-parent home. All merry and roses, you would think, right? Anyways, so my mom is she's a new mother. She has a toddler who is like 2 years, and I'm there 7. So now we are already a family of 3 kids, and it's a 2-parent household from being an only child at my grandparents. So you would think that is going to be all roses and fun and glitters, a little girl's dream. When you're 7, the only thing you can think is, the only thing that you dream of is running in the compound and playing with your friends and, getting colorful stuff, clothes, hair bands and stuff like that. I wish that was part of my story. I wish that's how my story started, but that's not the one. That's not how it goes. And this whole thing is like an ode. It's like not a sad poem really. It's like a wishful thought pattern or a thought process. It's like a prayer or I don't know how to put it. But letters I would have written to my dad if I was 7 or 8. If I went back to being 7 or 8. So I came from a happy family with my grandma and my grandpa. They're still there. They still love me too. Oh, if those people could give me their life, they could. They have actually done so much for me at this point. You'd think I'm like one of their kids, but they just love me like that. They can't help it. So you come from that kind of life to a life where you hear a man's voice outside, he is home, and you start panicking. you hear him calling your name, you know it's gonna end up with you being pinched on the cheeks. You know, when you're very small and your cheeks are like plump, so ukichunwa hivi, it's very painful. That was me, 7, 8, all the way to, I think, 10 up, because now at some point I started, you know, standing against him. Zile za jaribu, okay, si jaribu uone because tangeona nini. No, I started standing my ground. But before that, I was so happy. I was so happy to like finally have somebody I could call a father. I've always had that much love in me, you know, and I was so ready to give it. I was so ready to give it. But life does not always come the way you wish it to be. And if you have a present father, as I said, hey, a present, loving, hata tu akue tu alikuwa anaenda kulewa and then anakuja analala ama anafanya tu mambo zake, but he was there for you in ways that presence is felt without anxiety, without fear, without feeling like, you know, it's gonna end up in a fight ama wewe kuchapwa, without like that much violence as a child. You have, I think that's kind of lucky that we do not talk about too often. So without making this too emotional, I'm gonna read a post that I put up on my Facebook. It's gonna say some of the things that I've wanted to say for a long time. I'm in that reconciliation journey. At 29 year old, I'm thinking I shouldn't be carrying all this baggage, but I'm also doing shadow work, as I said, so it's part of my story and it's gonna come up every so often. So here is what I put up on my social media. Allow me to read it. It was 2 days before Father's Day, so yeah. I don't want to rain on y'all's parade when Sunday gets here and finds you doting on your oh so loving and present dads. So I'll post this now. Exit the stage and prepare to wow like an ambulance and cry happy tears for online strangers writing beautiful pieces about their dads on Sunday, Father's Day. Personally, I'm what you'd call an unsatisfied child when it comes to that department. Most people call it daddy issues, but I agree to disagree. Now, why would a whole 29-year-old woman be caught talking ill about her experience with fatherhood, both as a child and as a mother to a child going through the same thing currently? The word father is an expensive one. Probably why I never volunteered to utter it as often as I was expected to. The word father comes with a responsibility I never experienced growing up or in my adulthood whatsoever. Father, to me, meant constant fear and anxiety, fear of being woken up in the middle of the night to go finish collecting some farm tools that had been forgotten outside. Fear of being slapped across the face or pinched on the cheeks because I wasn't cleaning the shoes or the house fast enough. Fear of being forced to blow into a fire that wasn't catching on fast enough because it was lit on freshly cut leaves from a Kayepo fence. People who are in Kenya know what a Kayepo fence is. So he would cut those leaves, and he's a very neat guy. Cut those leaves and then pile them up in different piles and then light a fire because, I don't know, for hygiene purposes, he couldn't even wait for the leaves to dry up so that they are easy to light and burn. So what he would do is force me to blow into that fire, and until it catches on, hadi sasa hizo leaves ziburn, they get burned, and you know it's no longer part of the compound. Yeah, so Oh my god, I think that is one of my worst experiences ever. Because you can imagine, like, it's smoky, you're young, you don't even have enough breath to like that, and you're supposed to blow into that fire until it lights and becomes huge enough to burn the whole pile onto another pile, because it's a large compound, and he would go like trimming the fence, putting the leaves in one pile, and now I'm expected to do that. Anyway, yeah. The next paragraph of this write-up. Further means being sent home constantly because of school fees, even if he's a civil servant who just got a 1M loan a few weeks ago. Yeah, I think that's self-explanatory. I'm trying not to be sad. Yo, healing is crazy. But you have to revisit the dark parts so that you can see the light better, I guess. In this case, yeah, for me. Another one. Further means selling tumble clothes to survive in university, even if you could single-handedly clear the fees and the 3K monthly rent in the single room I was staying in. Missing one too many classes because you have to choose between eating and paying rent or asking your friend to sign your attendance for lectures. So I remember when I was going to university, my mom had to really beg him to pay for my fees. He really could have paid the whole amount in one go, forgotten about it, after the whole 4 years. But I don't know what. Oh yeah, something had happened before I went to university, because my mom is a very hardworking woman. She makes sure that if it's a business, she's putting her all. Kama ni vibarua at that time or before that time, she's also going above and beyond to do all that. Yeah, I'll know how strong, independent, or strong women can be. I don't even like that word up to now. But yeah, I remember what had happened before I went to university, which is March of 2018. Now, after I have repeated high school, you remember in episode 2 what I was talking about? After I've repeated high school, I've gotten good grades to go to university. I was government sponsored. So like I had worked enough. I had done my part after going back to Form 3, Form 4 for those 2 years. I had been invited to a top university. I won't say which one. And I was supposed to, like, yangu tu ilikuwa kusoma. You know, at this point, mshanirudisha high school, mshalipa school fees. So those 2 years, I don't think they should go to waste. Simulisema mtanisomesha. So, I mean, right now, I might be 21 years old and going to first year. But I'm still a child under your roof because I don't have a job. I went to school for 2 years. It was a boarding school. See, I had weekends to go hustle or do whatever. So literally, my whole education and my whole survival at that point was resting in my parents' hands. And as much as my mom has been a housewife for the longer part, even when she was a housewife, she had goats, she had cows, she was tending to, she was farming onions. Like, she was not idle. She was doing all these things to make money and, you know, put her family in a better position. Up to now, she's a very generous woman and she's a very hardworking woman. At that point, the reason why tulikuwa tushajua we will not be, hatutakuwa tunategemea my father for like the whole amount. He could have if he wanted to, but knowing the man he is, my mom had already put up a contingency plan. So she had a shop. Alikuwa ameanzisha a shop when I was in like Form 3. That was in 2016 now, the second part after nimerudia. It was in 2016. So towards the end of 2016, she put up a shop at our local area. And she started very small. She was putting in stock, adding stock, plowing back the profit, getting more stock. It had expanded to a point where it's paying its own rent. it is giving us pocket money, it's feeding the family, because Kikuyu women. And all that. She was very very hapendi kuitisha pesa to anyone, not okay, just like me also. So she wanted to reach a point of independence where she can run the household kivyake, because she would ask for money from my father until inafika place wanakani kama wanataka kufight. So when she got tired of doing that, she put up a shop with some, I don't know where she got, oh yeah, I think she sold some of her goats or cows or something and put up the shop. And it grew. Within an year, by the time I'm finishing Form 4, it had everything. It had an M-Pesa, it had cereals, it had clothes, bags, and the kawaida things for the shop. And it had reached a point of self-sustenance. It's sustaining the family, it's sustaining itself in terms of paying the overhead cost of operation and stuff like that. Now, fast forward to 2018, March. All of a sudden, the shop burnt down. The shop burnt down. At the back of my mind, me too, I normally think it was probably foul play. But at some point, I want to give it the grace that it deserves. Niseme it was just an accident, but whatever. So the shop burns down and out goes everything that she had worked for so hard, to an extent that she got so sick for like 2 months. She was bedridden for a month before that. And it's in March. I've been called to the university to join on May. Is it on or in? On May. So I have 2 months. We don't have money. She's trying to restart the biashara. Of course, you know how the kind of damage that comes with damage by fire. She was, in her words, she used to say, hata heri ingekuwa wezi, at least wangebakisha shelves and I would just do the restocking work. Now she has to start again from scratch, building the shelves, getting the stock, everything. Yeah, it was chaos. And I have 2 months to join school. And that time my father was working in a very nice town. So he could have afforded to single-handedly put me in university. But it was another circus. So that's where this paragraph comes in. Where I say father means selling mtumba clothes to survive in university, even if he could single-handedly clear the fees and the 3K monthly rent in a single room I was staying in, missing one too many classes because you have to choose between eating and paying rent, or asking your friend to sign your attendance for a lecture. Yeah, so in this occasion, someone had given me 3,000. I was so, by the way, there's a time I was so sad in that single room that I've talked about, to an extent that I was thinking of, but nobody knew, I was thinking of offing myself. But it's the feeling. There are those times when umefika tu mwisho, I never told anyone. I only told one person about it. And I told them everything that I'm thinking about. Amidst tears. And it's crazy because when I was joining university, I took my child with me. I'll come back to that story. Aki, somebody was telling me, hey, Karo, natupatia ma story manusu. Maana ukianzia kitu kwa your episode umalizi. If I start talking about every sub-story every sub-story that I give in the episode, then we won't have other episodes because sasa nitaongea tu iishe. Na yezi isha, we might stay we might make one episode a month long because it's such a long story. So I've already mentioned I came to university with my kid. Note that part, we'll come back to it in a different episode. So I'm here, a student with a child in this single room, a child who goes to school. She was in the CBC arrangement. She was in PP1. So I have to know what we're going to eat for 2. I have to be home early enough to clean her up, to feed her, to put her to bed and then sleep, do assignments, wake up the following day, rinse and repeat, get her ready for school, go to classes myself. So you can imagine, on top of that, I had to go to Gikomba to get tops and clothes to sell around the hostels huko shule, and so that I can get money for that. My mom is still at home, very sad, very depressed. Her shop has burnt down barely like 2 months before I went to university. So she's hazing this idea. I already knew. And one of the reasons why I carried my kid to school is because I couldn't leave her with my mom in that state. She gets very aggressive when she's like, things are not happening like that. And I didn't want that kind of environment for my kid. Also because this is the same household I had grown up with this father. And the things that I had experienced, I had seen signs of him treating my daughter the same way. And my daughter is kind of sensitive. She's actually very sensitive. I think I've nimemlea in a very calm and collected environment. I'm not a shouting parent. I call her, we sit down, we discuss things. And it started from kitambo, akiwa tu just around 6 hapo, because before that I was the mother my mother was. We'll come back to that, don't worry. So so I've explained why I went to school with my daughter. I couldn't watch her getting that kind of, getting that kind of trauma passed to her. I'm still healing. I'm 29. What are the odds of a below 5-year-old? Sa tungekuwa tunaenda therapy na yeye. But I'm glad. I thank God she didn't have to experience that kind of stuff. Maybe she has her own shares of stuff she's experienced with me. But at least it's not, I could say violence because, sorry. I could say violence because I have, had a fair share of that. Kuchapwa, kuchunwa kwanza, hiyo kitu inaniumizanga roho. Like, why would you pinch a child kwa cheeks and then pinch them again and then slap? Why? So anyway, yeah. So you can imagine I am already an active mother and a full-time student. Na hatuna food. I can't call my mom because that yeye hana food. Na maybe sistangu na bradangu wamefukuzwa from school. I have 3 siblings after me. So, ni hawa siblings atafikiria chenye atawafeed juu wamefukuzwa from school for lack of school fees. Ama ni mimi na mtoto wangu atalea. I'm already 21 at this point. So I decided if I have to do this, if this has to happen, like I didn't go back to school for 2 years for no reason. But I normally feel like if you're alive as a father, why would you let your kids go through that kind of stress, Na si ati huna pesa. I've already said some days were days where he will say he has no money. But my mom and her DCI detective brain, she would find out alikuwa amepata loan recently. He comes driving a new car at home and you have been asking for school fees here like 22,000, because I think semester 1 tulikuwa tunalipa 22,000. Semester 2 tulikuwa tunalipa 8,000. I've already worked hard to be government sponsored, so you don't have to go the whole mile in terms of paying school fees. Isi para. I went back to school for 2 years. I put in the work. I sacrificed time with my kid, and I know it's for my own good. But if you knew you're going to leave me in the desert like this after I have done all that, what was the point? What was the point, So anyways, now, that's not even the most painful part. Mimi tu na hustle. Then he still has the guts to talk about me to other family members, telling them bad things about my mom and bad things about me. Like, it still doesn't make sense to me this whole time. Adisai. So yeah, if you see me talking about not fathers, because some fathers are awesome. Oh my god. Eish, I envy some of you guys. So anyway, the last paragraph of my write up about Father's Day was: Father means being 11 years old in class 5 and getting kicked so hard in the stomach I started bleeding, had to be rushed to hospital, and sat down to a whole case with family members where he apologized to everyone but me. Up to this point, I still think I deserve an apology for all the nights that I was beaten, for all the times I was rained on. Nikilima, like it's raining and he wants you to he wants you to be in the shamba and finish your portion. I don't know. Okay, when my siblings and I are talking, we normally say he would have been an okay father in the 60s because he's raised us the same way he was raised. I think I've kind of like experienced his worst part the most, his worst side the most, because being a stepdaughter and stuff, even if I'm legally adopted by him, he shouldn't have. Why did he bother? But anyway, at least I have a name, if you can say it like that. Why? I know this episode is gonna rub many shoulders the wrong way. Yes, the floor is yours, it's open. All you with a different opinion say aye. The eyes do not have it. So this write-up is not even a quarter of the things that I should have written about. And as I talk about this, I feel like it could have been better. And I don't know the moral of this story. Once again, this podcast, it has zero moral of the story. You just find the bits and bits and probably say, okay, if she grew up in that kind of an environment and she's where she is right now, maybe it gets better. Once again, I'm repeating the same words I used in episode 3. Because it does get better. So, now that I'm an adult, do we have a better relationship with him? I can say that's like 50-50, right? I'm taking this healing journey very seriously. And the fact that you're yearning to forgive does not mean that that thing ceased to have happened. It does not mean that it's erased from your past. It's still there. Even if it really happened, you can't change it. And some of us find it very easy to forgive. Personally, no bad blood, whatever. But now the forgetting part. The forgetting part, I need to get into a couple of therapy sessions. Most likely, yes. Because it's not easy to forget. It's not easy to forget that you were once a happy child and then you can't remember you can't remember how it felt to be happy. On this side, you're helping your mom with mother duties and mother stuff. On this side, you're anxious, you're torn, you're traumatized, your heart is bleeding because you're supposed to be a young girl who can talk to their dad about stuff. Like, I envy some of my cousins. They have a very nice relationship with their dad. You know, she can tell him about mashida tuataka si za pesa. They can just sit down and talk, communicate like people. Even now that I'm an adult, he'll come, we're sitting down there, and the only thing he's saying is, you know why you're that successful? Okay, I'm not yet where I want to be, but according to his words now when he's talking, you know why you've reached where you've reached? It's because you listened to your dad. I'm like, oh my God, please stop talking. Please stop talking. I'm trying so hard to respect my elders. I don't want to make this awkward or crazy. Just stop. But yeah, he'll just go on and on about how you're where you are because you listened to him. You're where you are because you did 1 2 1 2, as he had told you. You're where you are because he taught you how to clean the house. And while he was, physically abusing you, like, bruh, stop it. And now also, I wonder if my life would have been different if I was raised in a calmer, more loving house. in terms of, present father and stuff. Because being from that kind of a background has affected me in one way or the other. For starters, I got my kid when I was 17, my daughter. Because for the longest time, I've been trying so hard to get validation from a man, to get attention from a man. Case on point, when I was in Form 1 for the first time, for the first time, I've been in Form 1 for just one time. When I was in Form 1, in my first high school, I used to move so smoothly with the female teachers. No chaos, no fracas, whatever. Anakuja, anafunza, I listen. If it overwhelms me, I sleep. Very nice, very smooth, very demure. Now, all the male teachers that I experienced in my first high school, I think at our waliona. From the Swahili teacher, I remember when I was in Form 2, I think I was his worst student. And if he watches this, I'm so sorry. I was going through a lot at the time. I'm just realizing that now. But the whole acting out, the whole rebellion, that wasn't me. That was just a teenager who had been unloved as a child, acting out and trying to reach out for what she craved most but never got. So I would be caught doing all manner of crazy things in those classes that were being taught by male teachers, And that being that, male teachers were the closest male in my life at the time, you get. And now it was even worse in my second high school. I've been to 3 high schools. Yeah, and every high school has a story. The first one, not so much. The second one, too much. The third one, smooth and very cute and very nice. I was just adorable. But now, that first high school, I think the male teachers, especially the Swahili one and the biology one, I've shown those men dust. But now that I'm doing the shadow work, I am revisiting self, that past part of me, the teenage me, healing my inner child, the teenager. I'm just realizing that was not normal behavior. And I think that teachers should, I don't know, is there like a subject where when you're in teachers training, college or in university doing the subject for teaching, is there a part where you guys learn psychology of the child? Not the child, like the wadogo wa primary school, the psychology of a teen. I would really like to know. Like, if you're watching this, kindly comment and tell me on these social media pages. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on TikTok, YouTube, or listening on Spotify, you can comment and tell me. Because I would like to know, because I kind of feel like the teachers could have handled it better. Because I'm a child, I am a teenager, I am acting. And that's not an excuse for whatever behavior I had back then. But I think I could have gotten the help I needed as early as back then, as early as in my first high school. Because now things escalated so bad, this whole thing of wanting attention, of wanting love, in my second high school, that I ended up, playing around and getting pregnant. I love my daughter so much, but I think, it could have been better. Yeah. So anyway, that's my sad part of fatherhood. If I go beyond this, I might cry on camera and I don't want to. If you can read my eyes, you'll see that I'm probably still a hurting teenager, a hurting child. It could be better even now. he can do better, but probably that's just who he is. But I didn't deserve this. I deserved a better father, and I wish I had a better father. So that's a wrap for episode 4. Happy Father's Day. Happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers. I'm not even giving ultimatum or conditions. To all the fathers. If you think you're a good one, that's on you. Yeah. Don't even get me started on my baby daddy. I won't even go to that point. So let it be a wrap now. My name is Carolina, and this has been a nice TED Talk. Bye.